Just recently, I acquired 4 300 SD turbo diesel Mercedes. It didn't take me long to realize that in every single one of them, the motor mounts were shot. In one, it vibrated so badly that the arms are sitting right on the frame. This is very common. People complain that my motor mounts don't last very long. Well, there's a number of reasons they don't. And high on that list is contamination by fuel. This is the left side, sits right underneath the pre-filter. This is the right side, sits underneath the turbo. You can see the oil on this one, and oil literally has deteriorated and damaged the rubber to where it's collapsed. This one is starting to tear apart because of diesel fuel contamination. So the warning here is be very careful. Make sure you don't have oil leaks, and make sure when you're changing your filters on your old Mercedes diesel, put something down there to cover up. Even if it has the plate on it, it's not enough to totally protect it from fuel spills, okay? Now, a lot of these don't even have the protective covers, and they get lost or thrown out when the motor mounts get changed. I've got 3 of the cars that don't even have the covers on them. Look, you see this one here just totally destroyed. See how collapsed it is because it's gotten contaminated with oil and it didn't have the heat shield or the deflector on it. You know, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been thinking about coming up with a better design for this, one that would completely cover the rubber of the motor mount. I'm still thinking about it. It's not going to be particularly easy, but let me show you what I recommend in the meantime if you're installing new motor mounts. Here you can see the old mount, here you can see the new mount. Look at the difference. Look at how much higher the engine is going to ride and how much smoother it's going to ride with new motor mounts. Now, for the longest time, I know how silicone can protect rubber over the long haul. And silicone can seal the rubber from a limited amount of oil and diesel contamination. So what we're going to do on our motor mount kits is we're going to start sending out a small container of high temp silicone grease, and I'm going to recommend you thoroughly coat the rubber on the motor mount before you install it. Now, you can do this with your finger. Just put a nice thick coat on here. Now, sure, it's going to collect some dust, but who cares? You want to protect this rubber. Just coat the whole top, the sides, and be sure and get underneath and coat all the rubber down here. Now, if you have an acid brush, you can use the acid brush to get into some of these corners right in this area and in this area. But the finger works really well. Make sure you wear gloves, though. Don't do this with bare hands. That silicone grease will hang on your finger skin for days, okay? So I'm going to sit here and prep these motor mounts. I have 2 sets of motor mounts I'm going to have to change here in the next week or so. So I'm going to coat these up and just let them sit for a while before I install them. And maybe after a year, go in there and take a look. You might want to go down in there with a brush and recoat these motor mounts with a high temperature silicone grease that you see here. I'm convinced this is going to extend the life on these mounts.